the in-season tournament. We're kind of taking cue from overseas as far as those tournaments go. Those the different cups and everything. So it's definitely a little bit of an international flair to it, which I like for sure. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this because just like the play-in tournament, there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of, is this going to be a success? Are players going to care? Is this really worth doing on the league's part? Is there enough of an incentive to get players to participate and really put their best foot forward in this thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the NBA is thinking more long-term than short-term. Like, we have to build this thing up to a point where it matters to players, right? Maybe the first year won't matter, but by the 8th, 9th, 10th, and where there's some history to it, teams start to care, and you're building a culture around the midseason tournament. I love that it's in Vegas because they're obviously going to expand there. And I'm a big summer league guy. Like, I go to summer league every day at Vegas vibes, basketball in Vegas, when the whole basketball community there is just so different. If we could get some more of that, I'm all for it. Like, I just love basketball in Vegas at the highest levels. And this is going to be even a higher level, right? Like, we love Vegas with the developing players and the rookies coming in, but now we're getting like full NBA teams out there in a tournament. I think it's going to be really dope.
Me too. I like what the NBA is trying to do here, because the challenge over the past few years has been, does regular season even really mean anything? That's what the NBA has been kind of fighting against, making it mean something, making these games really just get that intensity, like you're saying, that is going to make it fun to watch. And the fact of the matter is, like, these games are in the middle of the season. Yes, the games at the end can sometimes be kind of a drag, but also like in the middle of the calendar in the wintertime, there also some of those games can be a little bit of a drag. Like, you have players sitting and you may have some players hurt, and you're far enough from the playoffs that like you're not really making that stretch run yet. So people might be taking their foot off the gas a little bit. Best part about this, I think, or one of the best parts, is the fact that these teams are not going to have to play a bunch of extra games. Because that was my big question going in. It's like, is this in addition to 82 games? But they formatted it in such a way that it's only one extra game. If you're in the championship, you get 83. I do like that part of it. Hopefully the stars participate all the way through. I mean, if they're part of the 82, I'd expect them to participate all the way through if they're healthy. So I think that's a major win.
I think it builds camaraderie if some of the star players really put their all into it, because they're playing for something for the players that aren't making as much money, right? Like, $500,000 might not mean a lot to them. $500,000 is still $500,000 no matter how much you have. First of all. Second of all, that's a lot of money to some of the vet minimum players, younger players, two-way players, guys coming, who aren't making as much money. So if those guys are gonna play really hard for that, like the Suns got a lot of guys that aren't making a lot of money for NBA standards. So, I mean, if their star players could play for the rest of the team, I think that could build something for those type of teams. And also those players that aren't making a lot, they're going to be going hard. So I think it's a good, I think it's a good incentive. Like, those Suns role players are going to be going hard. And I think the stars will go hard for them. We've seen the bubble Suns do well in the past, and it won't be the bubble, but it'll have a different kind of feel than we ever seen before. So it should be interesting.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of before. The fact that these stars can play for the betterment of the role players that are on minimum contracts. So if you're making 1 million, maybe after taxes, you're making less than $1 million. Like, these guys are on the margins, if you're on a not guaranteed or something like that, like, oh, I need all that money.
They're going to be hyped after they win. They're going to be hyped, and they're going to be, if it's somebody on the Suns, they're going to be like, yo, KD, I appreciate you, man. If you just dropped 50 and got this win for us, and you got me an extra $500K. Come on, man.
Yep. Jordan Goodwin, Keita Bates Diop, like all these guys, Bull, like all those guys that signed on. And I mean, they're going to have pretty decent roles. Damian Lee, I think, was brought back. Those are the type of players that, hey, if they go off and win them a game, they go off for 20, 25 or a double-double or something like that, like, the vibes are going to be immaculate. I would love to see that.
I mean, Vegas Bowl is different. I know you've seen him out there. He's a 2K player for real when he's in Vegas. So I know he's comfortable out there.
He's a creative player, man.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.